The dawn drifted over the silent ridge as Orion stepped from his battered rover and let the cool air sweep across his face. He had spent years roaming the frontier worlds with armor wrapped tight across his frame, but today he carried nothing except a worn pack and the belief that peace might finally be possible. The plains of the new world stretched toward a pale horizon, quiet yet full of hidden breath. Orion had chosen this landing point because distant sensors reported no hostile movement and no sign ... Though he believed he was alone, he kept awareness of the terrain without rising or turning. The human colonies had learned long ago that stillness could be shattered by a single careless moment. Yet he wanted to release worry, even if only for a short pause. Tales across the frontier spoke of places where a person could reconnect with old quiet truths of strength that came from spirit rather than metal. Orion hoped this place would offer such clarity. He breathed deeper and opened himself to whatever calm ... A faint shimmer rose from the far ridge, like heat bending the air. At first, Orion thought it was only a reflection from the morning light, but the distortion grew as if something moved with purpose. He stood with careful motion, although he held no armor and no weapon. The shimmer thickened until shapes emerged like outlines stepping from a dream. They marched in slow rhythm along the ridge, then halted as one. Orion sensed they waited for him to acknowledge their presence. He raised a hand in greeting. The figures descended the slope with the cautious grace of those who understood the danger of crossing into unknown territory. When they reached the valley floor, Orion realized they were not machines or creatures shaped by familiar evolution. Their bodies resembled tall, slender pillars, with limbs that flowed like living metal, and eyes that glowed with shifting rings. They spoke with tones that blended whisper and resonance. The leader stepped forward and bowed with a gesture that carried meaning, although ... The leader addressed him in a voice that wove through the air with calm confidence. It explained that their people had watched the sky for many cycles and sensed the arrival of visitors from distant stars. They believed Orion's presence meant a turning point in the long, quiet history of their world. The leader asked why Orion traveled without protective gear. Orion answered that he wished to show trust and to experience a day free from the burdens of conflict. The leader looked toward the horizon as the beings requested that he follow them to a sanctuary hidden beyond the ridge. Orion agreed, though he kept a steady pace and observed every detail. The terrain shifted from open fields to narrow paths, carved through crystalline formations that pulsed with inner light. The crystal walls hummed in tones that felt like memories returning from forgotten times. Orion felt an intuition that the sanctuary held more than serene purpose. It might contain knowledge lost to humans since their earliest wanderings. When they reached a wide basin, the leader gestured toward a grand structure shaped from fused stone and luminous crystal. It rose like a monument built by patient hands over uncounted centuries. The entrance opened silently, and warm light spilled across the ground. Orion stepped inside, accompanied by the tall beings. Within the sanctuary stood an intricate map drifting in midair. It displayed star systems connected by radiant lines forming a vast network. Orion realized it marked not only existing worlds. The leader explained that their ancestors had created pathways allowing peaceful travel across enormous distances. Over time, the knowledge became hidden as their world slipped into quiet isolation. Now the arrival of a traveler who dared to rest without armor signaled an era when trust might rise again between distant cultures. Orion listened as hope stirred within him. He asked how humans could earn access to the pathways. The leader responded that humans must prove they sought cooperation, not dominance. The sanctuary shifted as the map expanded to reveal ancient archives. Orion reached toward a tablet fashioned from crystal. It lit with gentle radiance and displayed messages written in symbols he could not decipher. The leader placed a limb upon the tablet, and the symbols changed into a language Orion could read. The message told of a time when new travelers would rise from the dust of struggle and reclaim wisdom through courage free from armor. Orion felt the weight of those words as he realized the leader invited Orion to undergo a trial within the sanctuary. It did not involve combat, but rather a test of resolve. Orion entered a chamber where light unfolded into visions of past events. He saw human fleets battling across broken worlds, then turning toward peace with determination. He saw citizens rebuilding shattered colonies with hope in every motion. He saw explorers forging new paths with courage unshaken by the unknown. Each vision reminded him of the resilience woven into humanity. When the trial ended, Orion emerged with renewed clarity. The leader greeted him with approval. It declared that Orion had shown a spirit aligned with the purpose of the pathways. Yet access would depend on more than one traveler. The leader urged Orion to guide his people toward cooperation. Orion promised to carry the message to every colony that would listen. The sanctuary brightened as a doorway formed behind the map. It led to a platform overlooking a valley filled with crystalline towers. The leader explained that these towers powered the dormant pathways. If humans helped activate them, the network would unify many distant regions. Orion studied the valley and felt awe grow within him. With such a network, humanity could travel safely across vast expanses, avoiding the chaos of hostile space as the sun lowered behind the ridge. Orion prepared to return to his rover. The leader offered a sphere of light that contained coordinates for the towers. Orion accepted with gratitude. The leader reminded him that trust began with simple gestures, such as resting without armor. Orion looked across the valley, recognizing that the shock he felt earlier had transformed into understanding. He realized the encounter was not a threat, but an invitation for a new chapter of unity. He traveled back along the path, guided by the fading light. When he reached his rover, he paused to gaze at the horizon. The world that seemed silent now resonated with possibility. He climbed into the rover and activated its engines. As he lifted into the sky, he carried the hope that peace built through courage could reshape the destiny of many worlds.